Be wider. We'll just have a quick drink right and then we'll go.
We'd flown into Whitehorse and outfitted there with food and boats, and then we were driven to Quiet Lake on the start of a journey down the Big Salmon River. We spent 7 days there, absolutely glorious, through mountains, fast flowing waters, great wildlife encounters. And now we were at the confluence with the Yukon River, the mighty Yukon River. And what we're going to do from there is head on down from that confluence all the way down to Dawson City on the very top of that map. On the river, we were using the Rourke's guidebooks. This one in the picture is actually from the Big Salmon River, but continues on down the Yukon to Carmacks. But in fact, most of the time we will be using the Whitehorse to Dawson City version of the guide. It's brilliantly laid out, so you just flick over the pages, going back to front actually in the book, but the correct way for the river, lots of detail, lots of information, spot on. The poet Robert Service lived first of all at Whitehorse and then moved down to Dawson City during the height of the gold rush. He in fact ended up the manager of one of the banks in Dawson City. But here's a couple of extracts from his spell of the Yukon. There are valleys unpeopled and still. There's a land, oh it beckons and beckons, and I want to go back and I will. It's the great big broad land way up yonder. It's the forest where silence has lease. It's the beauty that thrills me with wonder. It's the stillness that fills me with peace. And he's absolutely right. It's a big land.
Super. Just stack them on top of each other. And then you can make like a little teepee with those bits.
You ready, Graham?
Last 2 apples.
Done well.
I preferred an orange now, but I ran out of them on day 3, was it?
Grazie.
Thank you. Just upriver from Carmacks is the coal mine campground, and they do food. It's all sort of takeaway, but yet they have a place you can sit away from the midges or mosquitoes if necessary. The campground originally, it's on the site of the coal mine that supplied some of the stern wheelers, though most of them preferred to be on logs or wood for the boilers. An amazing place. There's families starting off down the river in sea kayaks and touring kayaks. These guys have built themselves a raft with all sorts on top, and they've got a little boat to the side to give them power when they need it. I believe their aim was to drift all the way down the Yukon to the Bering Sea. Some adventure.
Big 2K.
We spent 2 nights at the campground, but we did walk into Carmacks, which was about 3 kilometres. We scouted out the store, but it was actually far easier to get a good idea of what we were going to buy and actually stop on our way down the river, because it's only 100 metres or so from the river up to the store itself, so it's not a big carry to get stuff back. Quite a bit of fresh meat and food, and a good selection of stuff to restock with. There's even a little hardware store downstairs. See that, Graham? Show me the... Delicately done.
Oh. That's lunch anyway. It's lunch we're having, isn't it? What? It's just lunch we're having.
I would leap for the shore.
I'll get my feet wet then. There's always a chance, you know. This is health and safety.
And this is Patrick keeping his feet dry. Ninth day on the river?
Yeah.
And dry feet throughout.
Ones we made earlier. Not flavoured cream.
Oh. Hold on 1 second.
Well, I came from Canada, used to make these cinnamon buns. That was a speciality.
Really good. Been in the shop this morning. Cinnamon buns. Excuse me while I make a mess. Yeah. Yeah. Where would you like to go, sir? Sorry?
Looks like more of a canyon.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, we're good there. Beautiful, isn't it? You get some pictures? This is probably the most difficult ascent for the stern wheelers. In lower water they could plough the way up there, but when the water was higher they had a wire that ran all the way down it, and they could take that round a capstan to give them extra purchase and pull. Wow. Do you want the arch?
You feel that sea?
Go on then, we can get that arch. Yeah, it might be better from this side and then break back into the current, go left of it.
Oh, first from this side, is it?
Yeah, and then into the current.
Have to be quick getting out of it so we don't hit the wall.
Yeah, I'll drive on this side. Wow.
Well, we can look through.
Yeah. I'll keep the tail end over here. Where would you like to go next, sir? On down? Yeah, yeah. Okay, we accelerate.
See all the boils on.
Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh, I'm in shallows. Go left, go left. Yeah. What should we do? Turn and head after the others? If you take left, then I can crank her over.
Yeah, you can see it's messy in there.
Yeah.
Boil line in the middle.
A pleasure to paddle 5 fingers with you, sir.
Yeah. Big boils, eh?
Yeah. Oh, we're about to hit them. Wonderful. Yeah. Oh.
This isn't a woman's job, you know.
Hey, says the woman who's paddled round Ireland. For mile after mile, and just below the top of all the banks, is a 2 to 3 inch thick white stripe. In fact, this is from a volcanic explosion in around 750 AD, which blanketed the area in ash. But there's this big pocket of ash, which has been named for Sam Mcgee from the poem by Robert Service, The Cremation of Sam Mcgee. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men who moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest ever did see was the night on the marge of Lake Labarge I cremated Sam Mcgee. The story goes on, and Sam Mcgee is from Tennessee, and he's come north, and through the winter, he is just cold all the time and complains about the cold all the time. And on this trip on the trail, he actually dies of the cold, but before doing so, he makes his mate swear that he will cremate him. He can't bear the thought of being in a cold hole. He wants to be warm once again. So the mate takes his body along the shores of Lake Labarge till he eventually finds the wreck of an old stern wheeler, and there he finds the furnace, and he pours in firewood and the corpse of Sam Mcgee. The storyteller can't bear the sizzle, so goes back out into the cold, but eventually he wants to see if it's all worked. And here's the final part. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said, I'll just take a peep inside. I guess he's cooked and it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking cool and calm in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile you could see for a mile, and he said, please close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. The days of the stern wheelers are now long gone, but there's still some commercial travel on the river, going either up to communities or to mining areas up in the side valleys, and it is the way of transporting stuff through. So it tends to be a barge being pushed by, well, I don't know how you would describe it, you know, a smaller boat. And I love the sort of scaffolding up to the control tower at the top. And we had to stop at Fort Selkirk on the way down the river, historic site. And you notice it's quite overcast and hazy, and that is from the forest fires that are burning in Alaska and in this part of the Yukon. The pipes on the floor there, they're leading up to sprinklers on the roofs of the buildings because they're trying to keep everything damp. They don't want this, another sprinkler, they don't want this historic site to be burnt down. Sprinklers everywhere. They're doing the best. And the windowsills are covered in sand and gravel to stop embers getting into the cracks in the wood. Meanwhile, teams of firemen are being ferried in. Forest fires are a normal part of this environment, and it varies from year to year, but this year it's not affecting the river travel, other than we're in the smoke for a lot of the time. Got a forecast, and we stopped at Fort Selkirk on the way down here. That's truly splendid. The good chance of a thunderstorm tonight, so rather than just put my tent up, which I need to keep the mosquitoes out, I've set my little tarp up and my tent under it so I can be in the dry, hung my gear up. I'll just take you on a little tour. Two inflatables on the way by. It truly is an egalitarian river, so sea kayaks, rafts, barges, this fellow just a moment who's hired a canoe in Whitehorse. He's German, he's heading for Dawson. I don't think he'd ever canoed before. He didn't know any strokes, certainly wouldn't have known a J stroke if you hit him with it, so he's slow. But the river travels fast and he's having a great time. A quick move back upstream from the lunch spot. We decided it was better on the other side of the island, and the tip was just such a short way. So quick bit of tracking, get to the top of the island, and we can take off the other side. This was our only view of a bear on the entire trip. We didn't even see one on the Big Salmon in us.
Impressive, isn't it? Random where it is, isn't it?
And a teacher from Ottawa, he bought himself a little inflatable. He'd been out in it once just to test it, and here he is, paddling down the Yukon.
It's not bad except for the sea. You're gonna have to rethink how it is, because it really pushes my kidneys. Anyway, the current's pushing me along. Have a great trip.
And yourself. Yeah. And here we're hitting the confluence with the White River coming in from the west. Its name, very simple. It's absolutely laden with snow melt, sediments and stuff from the glaciers. It's white, and listen to this.
Go.
Well, since we hit or have gone past the White River, that brought in a mass of cloudy, white, sediment-laden river. And last night was a real struggle filtering water, really clogging the filters up. It's going through a millbank bag, then through the filter. And even so, everything was slow. So what we made a point of doing for lunchtime today. This is the Stuart River. This is a small branch of it. The main river is over to the side. But it means the water is a lot clearer, and we're putting some of that through the filter. We'll take it with us. So just choosing to try and get near streams with a bit of clear water. On every camp, we'd walk the food barrels well outside or a good distance from the camp. But for the second time on this trip, we heard distant thunder, and very quickly the wind picked up. So the advice for Lake Labarge, way up on this system, is stick to the sides, because these strong winds can come in quick. And it didn't give a lot of warning before this was here. Just a little bit of thunder in the distance. Quickly the wind whipped up and turned this into a dust storm. Don't want to be on the middle of a lake then.
This is bear spray. So you have to spray it at an angry bear. You know an angry bear because it'll be going roar. And 7 seconds the whole thing lasts for. You gotta try and make a curtain, lots of little bursts. Pop off the clip. She is armed. Let's see.
Well done, fella.
Congratulations.
Well, maybe just last night. Cool. Well done.
Yeah.
Good trip. Good day. I don't know what you're organising.
Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please comment or press the like button, and of course you can subscribe. My own book Canoeing is available directly from myself or from Amazon and other retailers. You can support the channel, if you'd like, by going to buymeacoffee.com. The link is also in the description below this video. Thank you very much indeed.